everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As musicians, one of our end goals is to be able to share the music that we love so much with others. That might come in the form of recording a video of a song that you love, or playing it on a stage in front of hundreds of people, or maybe just sitting out on your front porch and playing it with family. Whatever that looks like, you want to be able to get through your song, make it impactful, make it interesting. So today I wanted to talk about one thing that I do when I am preparing a song for performance. So you know it. Before we get any further, don't forget to hit that like button down below, and let's get into it. You guys have heard me say this multiple times, or maybe you haven't. If you are new to the channel, by the way, welcome. Glad to have you here. I like to talk about music tips and share music with you all, but one of the things that I think that has helped me the most in my musical journey is recording myself. Setting up a phone, whether it's actual camera, videoing myself playing, or sometimes it's just an audio recording. So I use voice memos all the time. Oh my goodness, I have way too many voice memos, recordings of songs. But recording myself has made such an impact in my playing. And so I talk about that a lot, but I wanted to go more into the specifics in this video of why I do that and what I'm looking for, what I'm listening for when I'm recording myself. Because you can just hit record and play your song and then move on with your life, but that's not really the point. The point is, one, recording yourself adds pressure. You can't fully simulate the feeling of playing in front of a live audience, but you can add pressure into your practice. And if you are, if you have a song that's, say, maybe 3 minutes long, and every time during your practice you set up a camera and you film it just like you would perform it. You don't get any redos. You don't get to stop and start it. You get one shot to record the video. And if you mess up, you got to keep going. That's how it is in the real world when you're out playing. You have to pull it together and keep the song moving. So practicing recording yourself, maybe even once a practice session, I think is a great thing to do, because you get used to that feeling of playing under pressure, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. I remember when I first started recording myself, it would take me, 10, 12 takes maybe to get a recording that I was happy with. And now, there are still some songs where maybe I do 5, 6 takes, but there are also many, many times at this point where I have a song and I'm ready to go. I can play it. I turn on the camera with the pressure and I'm fine. I can get it in one take just like that. I don't really have to think about it as hard anymore. And it's just become more natural. It's become easier, and it will for you too if you work on that. And if you do that regularly in your practice, where you're forcing yourself to get through your song with no redos, no stops, then it does make performing easier, because you're already used to that expectation of, I have to get through this song. There's no one that's gonna help me. There's no second try. I have to do it right now, which is how it is in the live setting. So that's the number one reason why I recommend to record yourself. But there is another side to that, which I have started doing a lot more, and that is analyzing your playing. Now, I know a lot of us, it's very cringy to take a recording of yourself and watch it back. Trust me, I know. It is not the most fun thing in the beginning, and it can be very frustrating, but just hear me out. You will get used to it, and the benefits greatly outweigh the awkwardness and the frustration in the beginning. I recently posted a video of me playing an instrumental cover of the song Landslide. If you have not heard that, check it out. Link will be down below. When I was practicing this song, once I had the arrangement down, once you have the notes, once you have a general idea of how the song is gonna flow, what you want the roadmap to be, you wanna have a pretty good hold on it and be able to get through it well, be able to play it decently before you do this step. This is kind of the polishing side of playing a song, because one of the things that I'm most guilty of, I'm a perfectionist, right? I think a lot of musicians kind of have this perfectionistic mindset where you want to get the notes right. You want the notes to be clear. You want the rhythms to be right. You want it to sound like the song, which is great. All of those things are super, super important. However, if there's no emotion behind it, if there's no louds, if there's no softs, if there's no growing, no building, it's boring to listen to. You want to tell a story with your song. You don't just want to play notes. Not everybody struggles with that. You might be on the opposite side where you love telling the story with your song. You love the emotional aspect of it. And maybe you need to work a little bit more on making sure that you do have the notes right and you do have the rhythms right. But in either case, recording yourself magnifies that. I found, especially with this past song, what I do, like I said, once I'm able to play through it, then I'll record myself. And it might not be great, it might not be perfect, but I can get a rough idea of, okay, this is what the song is sounding like. And what I do is I'll practice it, record it, and then I will play back the recording, and I am fully engaged, fully listening to the recording. I'm not thinking about it from a performer's perspective anymore. I'm thinking of it as a consumer, as an audience member would hear the song. And the things that I am looking out for are many things, but number one, are the notes clear? Because that is important. And if your notes are not there, that's going to be distracting. No one is actually going to be able to get to the emotional aspect of the song if they're hung up on, oh, that note was wrong, and then that note was wrong, and that rhythm wasn't right. So yes, it is important to have that. But that's number one. Number two for me is actually the dynamics of the song. So the louds and the softs, that is the majority of the time what I'm going in to listen for, because I'm really bad at adding dynamics to songs. I just don't think about it. It's not my number one concern. But when I'm listening back, I realize, oh, that actually is kind of boring. It doesn't really grow. Like, I'm listening to a song for 3 minutes and it all kind of sounds the same. And that's when I realize I really need to flesh this out a little bit more and make it more interesting to listen to. I'd like to try to make mental notes of, okay, in this section of the song, in the second chorus, I need it to build more. I need it to feel like it actually lands. I want it to sound louder. And so I make a mental note of that, and then I keep listening, and I think, oh, okay, maybe in the bridge, I wish that it would come down a little bit more. Or I wish as I'm listening to it that it really needs some variation. I need to make this section louder so then that this section can feel softer. Then it can build after that. All of those little things. And you can hear that so much clearer when you're just listening to it. I think it's so much easier to go in and say, I want this to be loud, this to be soft, this to grow here, when you're not the one playing. Because when you're playing, you've got so many other things that you're trying to think about that it's very overwhelming to do that all at once. And this is why I like to listen to myself, so that then I can map out exactly what I want to do from a audience kind of perspective of, this is how I want the song to come across. This is the story that I want to tell with this song. Then when I'm going to play it, I don't have to come up with that on the spot. I already have my roadmap for where the song's going, what the dynamics are, when it's building, when it's not, and I don't really have to think about that as much. So once I have mapped out, okay, I need this louder, I need this softer, whatever, then I go back in and I will play the song again, record it again, listen back, see if it had the effect that I was wanting it to have, and if I achieved the dynamics that I was listening for the first time. A lot of times what happens, or what I found for me, is when I go back the second time to record the song and I am thinking about the dynamics, I still don't do it enough. This almost happens to me in every single song that I've ever played. I think I'm doing dynamics, I think I'm getting loud, I think I'm getting soft, and then I go back and listen to it and it's just not enough. It sounds very small. It doesn't doesn't have the effect that I'm going for. You listen back, you hear everything. You hear that, oh, maybe I wasn't doing it quite as much as I thought I was. So then if I go back the third time, then I know, okay, I'm gonna really try to over exaggerate the dynamics. I'm going to over exaggerate my loud, over exaggerate my soft. And most of the time when I'm thinking of over exaggerating, that's actually where it needs to be at. Now you can go too far. I'd never go too far. Just me and my personality, I'm never one that goes too far. I always need to think of going further in order for it to really land like it needs to the audience. So then I record it again, listen back, and then when I, get to that place of, okay, this sounds like I want it to, then I play it like that every time forward, or at least try to. And that's what I did with Landslide. I had those 3 days to practice it. Every day I would run through the whole song, work on little problem spots. If I was having trouble with the chord change or whatever, I would spot practice that, and then I would record it, and then I would listen back and then make notes, and then take those notes to the next day of practice and work on those notes, record it again, listen back, see if I had any more notes, and just kind of continue that process. And sometimes it takes much longer, depends on the song, how involved the song is, but sometimes just it might take a couple of times of doing that before you really get it to sound like you want it to. The other thing is you hear it differently. You definitely hear it differently when you're not the one playing it. Because it sounds different when it's right here in front of you. It's going to sound different than it is to somebody all the way across the room. So it's helpful to have that perspective. The other thing that really happens when you're recording is, especially audio. Video, not as much. It's still there, but when you're just listening to the audio, everything shows up. Every little buzz, every little note that's not clear, every single click of the pick, everything shows up. Everything is magnified. And that's where someone like me can really fixate on that and almost be too careful with that sometimes. But it is good because it really forces you to make sure that your notes are clear, that there's no buzzing, that there's no extra clicking, there's no, muted notes. Everything is ringing out. You're hitting everything evenly. That's another thing too, is sometimes you listen back and you realize, my notes are not even. I'm not hitting my E string hard enough. That note didn't really come through like I thought I was. Because a lot of times when you're the one playing, you know what it's supposed to be. So you think you're playing it, you think you're hitting all the notes right, and then you listen and turns out that you can't actually really hear everything that you're playing. So definitely go back, listen for the clarity. It's gonna show up, you're gonna hear it, and I think this is where it can get frustrating, especially if you're someone that is starting out doing this. You might hear so many things that you are unhappy with, and everybody's got to start somewhere. I started there. It's part of the process. I would encourage you to pick one thing. Pick one section that you want to work on. Don't feel like you have to improve the whole thing overnight, that it has to be perfect in the end, because it doesn't. Pick one thing. Focus on one thing. Maybe it's a note that is continually buzzing. Maybe it's the 5th fret on your A string, whatever it may be, and think, okay, the next time I play through this, that's going to be my focus. Just choose one thing to improve on. And the more you do it, the more those things will naturally happen. And what I found too is, because I have recorded myself so much, that now I am a lot better about listening for buzzes. In the beginning, without even recording myself, I've trained myself to think about that, because I know that that's a big deal and it comes across when you are listening to a recording. So you do start to train your ear and your fingers to adapt to those things and fix those things before you even record it. But just take it slow. It's not going to be perfect your first time around. And I'll let you in on a secret too. Even if maybe you're at the same level as me, maybe you think, oh, I wish I could play like her one day. I still don't think my playing is perfect. Like, there are Still things, almost every time I record something, there's still things that I wish that was better. I didn't do that great. That note wasn't clear to me, to my ears. I've never gotten to the point where it was perfect. It almost never is. But you get to a point where you say, I'm getting the point across, I'm telling the story, I am sharing this song, and you have to let it go. And sometimes the things that you think are actually a big deal don't come across as big of a deal as you would think. I know that there have been times where I'm playing something and I make a mistake and I think, oh, that must have been terrible. That must have sounded absolutely horrific. And then you listen back to the recording and it's not nearly as bad as you thought it was. And that kind of helps you get your confidence up too, to realize that, oh, when I'm playing out, sometimes, yeah, you might make a mistake, but most of the time people don't even notice it. And if they do notice it, it's a little thing, and they move on and they are invested in the rest of your song and they completely forget about it. So all in all, these are some of the reasons why I love to record myself and why I think that every musician should incorporate this into their daily practice, whether it's recording an exercise, recording a scale, recording a song, whatever it might be. Just do it and it will help you improve, even though it might be frustrating in the beginning. Like anything, the more you do it, the easier it gets, and the more natural you get at it as well. So thank you guys so much for being here, for coming back to the channel, for watching my videos. I truly appreciate it. I've gotten many comments from you guys saying that my videos are helpful to you, that you are learning something, and that is amazing. I am so thankful for that. That is the goal, helping you learn, helping you grow in your musical journey. As always, don't forget to leave a comment below, and I will see you guys in my next video.